edition of Time Pass with the New Indian Express. I'm Kaveh Bamza, your host, and today I have with me Ashwin Sanghi, who's just written yet another bestseller, The Vault of Vishnu, which comes in his Bharat series, which began with The Razabal Line, one of my all-time favorite thrillers. Hi, Ashwin.
It's always a pleasure to get to spend some time with you because not only do you follow my work, but I also follow your work.
Thank you.
So this is a wonderful discussion that we are having.
I wanted to ask you, how did a boy who studied in what? Where did you go to school? You went to St. Xavier's?
I was in Cathedral School in Bombay.
So very South Bombay, very Tony, very sort of
Absolutely.
what is considered deracinated. and here you are. You possibly know more about our ancient texts and our ancient mythology than most supposedly, pundits of this kind of thing. So how did that transformation happen, Ashwin?
Well, Cathedral School, Xavier's College, all of that was going on in any case.
Yeah.
I have always, when I was right now researching the Vault of Vishnu, I came across a very interesting little piece of information about the great merchants and businessmen of Samarkand. And Samarkand, of course, was very famous along the Silk Road.
Right.
And when a new baby boy was born in the family, they had this tradition of touching a drop of honey to the tongue and a drop of glue to the palm.
You mentioned that, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the reason for that was they wanted that the boy should grow up to be a great merchant, who had a very sweet tongue, who would be able to sell pretty much anything to anyone.
Right.
And would also have a sticky palm so that coins
would stick to it.
Correct. So I found that very fascinating because I grew up in a Banya Marwadi environment. My mother is a Banya, my father is a Marwadi. Right. So it's a deadly, it's a deadly combination, as they would say in Gujarati, probably a deadlow combination. But so the point was that when I grew up, I think the entire focus was that he's going to go into the world of business.
Right.
The entire planning was to focused and oriented towards the world of business.
Right.
And I have often joked that, in many homes, when a child is born, then you would have a tradition of either having a Bhagavad recitation, or maybe a part from the Ramayana, or maybe a verse from the Quran is recited. Whereas in Marwadi Banya households, there are two magic words, debit and credit. And one goes in the left ear and one goes in the right ear. And as long as that child knows the words debit and credit,
he's
probably
fine.
worth something in his life, So my education was going on, and in parallel with that, I used to go to my dad's place of work, where I used to be taught accounting and all of that. But
what was the business, Ashwin?
So the business, the Sanghis, if you go around anywhere in the world, not the world, India, if you go around India, you'll always find that there's some Sanghi who's selling cars or automobiles or auto parts.
Okay.
And that was the traditional business which was started sometime in the 1920s by my Dadaji from the town of Jodhpur.
Okay.
So, and in those days, of course, the cars were mostly bought by the royal families.
Yeah.
So he would mostly sell to the royal families in the 1920s and 30s. Growing up in that business environment, the one constant factor besides the world of business was my maternal grandfather, my maternal granduncle actually.
Right.
Who was very fond of reading.
Right.
And he would send me a book every week to read.
Oh, lovely.
And during his lifetime, he sent me a little over 300 books.
Super.
And every time he would send me a book, he expected in return a letter from me explaining what I had read, why I liked it or disliked it.
What great training.
And that I didn't realize it at that time, Kaveri, but my brain was getting rewired in some way.
Absolutely.
So even when I went on for an MBA, because I had to go at the right age, everything had to be right. Right
And you
school.
went to Yale, right?
I went to Yale. So
Yeah.
the right school, the right college, the
Yeah.
right MBA degree, the right age to get it, the right age to get married, the right number of kids. I mean, everything was
Everything was
predetermined.
right.
Everything was predetermined and right, and it was utterly boring. But the point was that when I came back and I got into the world of business, there were people who were saying, don't waste your time reading books. Instead focus on bookkeeping rather than book reading. And if you have to read, then use your time to read a balance sheet. Don't waste your time with reading books. I would go back to my Nanaji. I called him Nanaji, even though he was my grand uncle. And he would say that, beta, remember one thing, you are from a business family. You will always have Lakshmi in your life.
Right.
But remember one thing, if your target also is Lakshmi, then the short way of getting Lakshmi is by going after Saraswati. Because Lakshmi is always curious as to where Saraswati is. So if Saraswati comes into this room, then Lakshmi wants to be in this room. If Saraswati gets up and leaves, then Lakshmi also gets up because she's curious about where Saraswati is gone.
Right.
He said the short way of targeting Lakshmi is by targeting Saraswati.
Right.
And of course, in our Hindu pantheon of gods and goddesses, the only deity who can sit between Lakshmi and Saraswati is Ganesh. And so, which probably explains why Ashwin looks the way he does, because there has been this wonderful objective of sitting like Ganesh between these two deities, these two Devijis. So in that sense, a lot of the hard wiring in terms of philosophy, history, archaeology, science, probably even things like, for example, political viewpoints coming from sources as diverse as, let's say, the Arthashastra or the Prince. All of this was happening because of Nanaji, because I was getting exposed to material which was way ahead of my time.
Right. And I mean, how wonderful. Who knew that, you would one day become a best-selling writer?
Absolutely.
Is he still around?
No, he died the year I came back after my MBA, which was 1993.
Oh, he would have been so proud of
even
you.
Even when I was an MBA student in the US for 2.5 years, even at that time, his books used to follow me to the US.
Amazing. He would have been so proud of you, right?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, if you see most of my books, you'll find that in the acknowledgement section, I talk about two gentlemen. One is Ram Prasad Gupta and one is Ram Gopal Gupta, my grandfather and my maternal granduncle. And both of them, I continuously always, the last line of the acknowledgement says that, they are the ones who actually move my pen.
Right.
Please like our social media handles and subscribe to our channel by clicking on the bell icon.